Hey guys, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Thursday at 1 o'clock, which means it is time to be back. I don't even know if we've done a Facebook Live. Yeah, I guess we didn't do one last week because, it was Thanksgiving. So I hope you had a great holiday, and now we are deep and truly into the Christmas season. So I'm just going to do a quick refresh over here to be sure that I'm actually transmitting on the place I mean to be transmitting, which is my business page, because me and Facebook sometimes go round and round. Okay, I see some folks are watching, so that's good. There's at least 9 people who think this is the right spot, so I guess we're doing good. All right, so the other night, hey Marva, hi Faith and Rosie, appreciate you coming, and Bree, thank you. The other night on Sunday, my friend and downline Tara Carpenter did a reverse easel. And y'all know how much I love easel cards. And so her doing that was like waving a red candy cane in front of me, and I had to do it. And so I did. That is what we have here today. This is a reverse easel for Christmas, and it uses the Sweet Candy Canes stamp set with the dies and one of my favorite things, decorated pines. Let's talk just a second about this right here. Hey, Debbie. Hello, Angie. Appreciate you coming. This thing is the Last Chance list. Y'all know that the Last Chance store went live today, and this means it's time to start getting your favorites, because everything on the Last Chance list is while supplies last. I make no guarantees. I have no insight into what's left or what the inventory is looking like, with some limited exceptions, okay? So 3 things that I've used today are on this list. The candy cane dies, you can get them for 20% off, which means instead of $35, they're $28. And the candy cane stamp set is not discounted, okay? So it's still $22. But if you add those 2 up, buying them separately like that is still cheaper than buying the 10% bundle discount. So just saying. But the one I really want to point out, hey Janice and Paulette and Nancy and Mary Lou and Deborah and Debbie, appreciate you coming, is this one right here. Can you see it? I'm going to get it really close, because that one right there, this one literally hurts my heart. Decorated pine, one of my favorites ever. I mean, really. It's got ornaments, and most critically, it has that pine bough die right there. And it is my favorite ever. So you may see that a few more times before the catalog goes. But the part I want to point out, it is on sale at 50% off. That means for $17, you can get 21 dies to work on Christmas projects with, or even just use these pines. Pines would be great on masculine birthday cards. You don't need cards, not cars. Don't put it on the car, because that would be weird. It would be too little, and the proportions would be wrong, and paper is never good on a car. But it would be really good on masculine cards, even if you don't use the ornaments. So I'm just saying, $17 is one heck of a price. So I hope you will get that before it goes away. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this card. Tara used the new On the Farm set, and I wanted to go Christmas, and so I did. So let's get going. All of the measurements and directions will be on my blog, Tamale. I'm going to move that out of the way. So we're going to start with, I'm going to turn the scoreboard. We're going to start with a piece of shaded spruce. So the colors here are Real Red, Shaded Spruce, and Pool Party. Okay, perfect with the Sweetest Christmas set. Sweetest Christmas uses garden green, and I have used a little garden green on here, but it's very little, and I think it's fine. Nature has multiple greens all mixed together. Okay, so we have a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of shaded spruce, and we're going to start with a 4 1/4 score, and then we're going to just split the difference. Okay, so this is how you figure out how to make an easel. Okay, it's very high math. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4 left, right? Half of which is 2 1/8. This is why, tell your kids, this is why they need to learn math. Mom, why do I need to learn math? I'll never use math. Of course you will. You're going to be a card maker. Of course you are. So 2 1/8. So 1, 2, and 1/8 is 6 3/8. So essentially we have divided the card stock in half, and then divided what was left in half again. That is about as basic math as you can get. Fuzzy or otherwise, new, old, it's just math, and it's easy. Okay, So here's the place where the reverse easel might boggle your brain. In the real world, in a normal easel, it would look like this, right? You know, roughly. Not quite, but roughly. But on a reverse easel, it goes, well, reverse. Isn't that crazy? So this looks like it should be the inside of the card. In fact, it's the back. So here's how we're going to fold. We're going to fold once this direction. And when you're doing fun folds, it's more important even than normal to be sure that you're getting everything straight. Okay? Now, in a normal easel, you would fold this one this direction. In a reverse easel, you reverse that and fold it up like so. Okay? I'll just double check to be sure that my brain hasn't failed me. Oh, no, it hasn't. It looks like the same. So we're on a roll. All right. Now let's go ahead and get to decorating because that's the fun part, right? First thing I'm going to do is the back because the back is easy. I'm going to do the back, but I don't have a piece of white cardstock. So wait one and let me get one. Good Lord. What in the world? You know, you do this, this is a frangible skill. Just so you know, it is a frangible skill to be prepared for a video and not have to get something different. So you get to watch me trim. Isn't that fun? Because who knows how to do that? All right. So our mat here is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. My normal measurements, I take 1/8 of an inch off of my mat, both directions. So what did I say it was? 4 1/8. Yeah. So I want a 4-inch by 5 1/4. So we're going to go 4, 4, and 5 1/4. Hello, Juanita from Kent, Washington. Thank you for joining. All right, now we have the card stock. You know what is the sad part? I am going to just go out on a limb and say I probably had that piece sitting somewhere and then I just totally forgot it. I just don't even know where it went. All right, so to do this, we're going to put this little leaf doohickey in each corner, okay? And the leaf doohickey is from the the Sweet Candy Cane set. And we're going to do it in Pool Party. Hey, Amy. Hi, Donna. And I'm going to put it down in this corner. And then I'm just going to rotate and put it up here. And I made a half-hearted effort to make it all kind of the same angle, but it was very half-hearted, not gonna lie. I'm gonna close that up before I have an accident. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of seal. I think I've grabbed the Seal Plus, but you could use regular seal or you could use liquid glue, whatever makes you happy. I will tell you that, especially when I'm doing cards where everything kind of matters. You know, I mean, like, and this only matters really because there's a lot of cardstock, and so I kind of don't want to mess it up. So I do tend to use liquid glue, especially when my tolerances are tight. What do I mean by tolerances? My normal, if you'll notice, let me show you how this looks. First, let me put it on the right panel. Let's do that. How about we do that? This is the back. So if you will notice, when I say tight tolerances, to get the measurements for this mat, I took the measurements of the card base, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, normal. But I only took off 1/8 of an inch on my mat. Normally, I would take off 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so normally my mat would be, it would be 4 by 5 1/4. But this time it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So that's a tight tolerance, which means it's a little harder to get it exactly straight. So I like to use the liquid glue just to help myself out a little bit because I can always use a little extra help. Okay, now we're just going to do some adhering and some sticking and some all of those things there. Hey, Jean, having a white day, but oh, no, no snow for me. No snow for me. I like snow on my cards. And I admit I do kind of like snow, but I like the kind of snow that is gone quickly. And then I want the mud, don't do that. I want the mud to go away even more quickly. See what I did there? So I'm busy yakking. And I was going to adhere the wrong side to the mat. And that would have been okay, but not what I was looking for. Because I really like these little candy canes. And they go so perfectly. So I'm just matting them on a little bit of Pool Party. And now that I have a little glue on here, I'm going to use my rubber eraser. If you don't have a rubber eraser, just get one. Or be like me and have 12, because I can put glue in the wrong spot so fast, it's not even funny. Like I just did on that first panel. Okay, so I'm just doing a bunch of matting on Pool Party. Easy and peasy. Easy and also peasy. And these guys are going on the 2 easel folds. Again, my tolerances are tight. And so I'm using liquid glue so I have a little wiggle room. When you've got seal on there, as soon as you put that down, you're getting some sticky. And I like to be able to move it around a little bit. All right, so here we go. You can already see, I just think this is really cute. I love the paper, and I love this easel gives you so much space to show off your pretty paper. Okay, let's get that off. I did a real good number on that one. Okay, and then I have one more piece, and it's this one. And this is going to be on the inside where the easel stop is going to go. All right. And this is part of why I put a spot on the back. I put that back panel on so that everybody has a place to write their little sayings. Everything shuts down here when it snows. Ah, and that is in Washington State, yeah? Is that right? Yeah, Kent, Washington. Well, you must not get a lot of snow, because in most places where it snows a lot, everybody looks at you like you're crazy if you're like, what, you're open? Of course, it's snow. We moved to Colorado from California, Southern California, and I was just certain that we would have snow days and it would be wonderful. And guess what? When you live in Colorado, you don't get snow days. I'm just saying. It snows and they're like, yes, school will be 30 minutes later than usual, but we're going to expect to see you here. I've got one more little piece to adhere. So what is this card really? It's just a lot of stamping and adhering, and really more adhering than stamping, right? Okay, now we're going to make this piece right here. And this is a piece of snowflake vellum adhered over the top of another piece of the DSP. And it really does a nice job of kind of quieting that down, but you still can see the design. And I'm going to show you a little trick. What is kind of tricky about this is that this vellum piece is the exact size of the DSP. And I am never good enough to get that exactly right, so I'm going to show you a little trick. First off, we're going to adhere this vellum with some liquid glue, and we're going to use little dots behind the printed area. Okay, now just so you know, there's 2 kinds of vellum in that pack. You've got the pieces that have the foil design, and then you've got the pieces with this kind of velveteen stuff. Okay, and the velveteen is the one I'm using. So I'm just going to do some dots wherever there's some velveteen. I'm having too much fun saying that. And I could get all head up about where everything's going to be so it's hidden, but I'm not. I'm just putting it behind the little embossed places. And I'm going to do a little cutting, so I'm being a little bit generous, by which I mean I'm doing a lot of dots. Not that I'm putting a lot of glue in any one place, but that I'm putting a lot of little bits of glue, like that. Could you use glue dots? Absolutely. I do not have the patience to do that. Therefore, I'm using liquid glue. I would still, sometimes you can get away with glue dots that aren't hidden by design, but I'd still be pretty careful about that. Okay. All right, that is plenty of glue. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on a piece of DSP that is the same exact size, but it's bigger than I need. So once this has had a moment to adhere, liquid glue, the upside of the liquid glue is that it gives you a little squiggle time. The downside is you have to give it a second to decide it's time to hold it down and not give you that squiggle room. Okay, so what that meant is that was a long way to say it can move around until it gets all dried up. Okay, so now it's all set, and I am going to trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5, okay? Because that is the mat size that I am using for my easel. So 3 3/4 by 5. And since there is no discernible pattern, I can just go ahead and cut one side. So I'm going to cut the long side to 3 3/4 and the short side to, wait, what was it? Measure twice, cut once. Remember what they say, by 5. 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so let's do that. What does that get you? Now, if you had done a worse job than I did of aligning some edges, you could cut a little bit off of all 4 edges so that you get down to size, okay? That's kind of the point of doing that. If you look over here and you can see red, trim down on that side and trim down on this side. So all you got to do is keep trimming until you have 3 3/4 by 5. That's all you got to do. Easy peasy. And there you're done, and it matches up perfectly. All right, so now we can go ahead and adhere this to its mat, and then we will adhere it to the card front. Pretty. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Okay, now, to adhere this, we're essentially going to center it side to side and put a reveal that looks right. It's like we've centered it on a card front. Do you see that? So we've got the same visible reveal here as we do down here. And I've got the same visible reveal here as here. So you can kind of just pretend like there is no fun fold. It's just a card, okay? So I'm going to put glue in this area of this part of the card. I'm not going to put it on the card, on the easel itself. I have a much better shot of not screwing it up. The nice thing about the liquid glue is you don't have to worry about getting right out to the edges because it's going to be plenty adhered when you get it, when it gets squished around. And it is going to squish around. So you want to be a little bit cognizant of squishing. You want it to squish a little bit, but not a lot. You don't need a lot of squishing, just a little squishing. You need enough squishing to get the glue out towards the edges, but not so much squish that you get a lot of glue here, okay? And that was a terrible job with that one right there. Okay, it's pretty well hidden. Okay, so now let's go ahead and decorate. We've already got this piece ready to go, so it's going to center right there. And then we're going to decorate with a few things that I have already cut out, because you just don't need to see me cutting stuff, even though I could bring my mini cutter over and do it all for you, because all of these dies fit in the mini cutter. And did you know that we're going to have a blue mini cutter? Not kidding. Blue mini cutter. It's called the Boho Blue Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine, and you're going to be able to get it in January with a wonderful ordering or joining special. Okay, we're going to let that adhere. All right, now let's take a look at what I have die cut. I have a sentiment that is from Sweet Candy Canes, and I just did it, stamped it in shaded spruce and cut it with the next to largest of the thinner dies in the stitched rectangles. I used a candy cane die. This is so cool. This is one of the best things about this whole set. I used one of these candy cane dies to cut a candy cane from the Sweetest Christmas DSP. Yeah, I did. I totally did. And you get 2 candy cane dies, and they all fit all of these candy canes. So you don't even have to stamp candy canes if you don't want to. You can just die cut them. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I wouldn't kid you about something like that. So I cut one that's all real red, and then I stamped 3 leaves in Pool Party on basic white and cut them out with their matching die. And somewhere here on this desk, well, I cannot find it. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to do it without my Twizzlers because I don't know where they went. They disappeared. I'm just pushing out. I've got a hanging Chad here. This is that die that I was telling you about, the pine bough from Decorated Pine. And for me, if you love pines, this is worth $17 right here. I'm just saying. But you also get other stuff. Okay. So now we're going to create a little collage. And we're going to start with a pine bough. And then we're going to have a candy cane. And then we're going to have a sentiment like that, kind of roughly like that. And then we're going to tuck these little dudes in here and there. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of trim off a little bit of my pine bough because he's way too big. He's too bold. He's too giving. And we're going to use a little liquid glue to adhere this. All right. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you, give me thumbs ups or whatevers, already have your Christmas tree up? Just asking for a friend. Just asking. How many? I do not. I don't. Times past, I probably would have already had it up because it's past Thanksgiving, but I don't have it up yet. Now, here's what I want you to do when you're making this part. I just want you to use some liquid glue in kind of the center of the candy cane, okay? And the reason we're going to do that is so that we can tuck those leaves in. When you put the candy cane on, and this is like a personal thing for me, so if it doesn't bother you, that's fine. I don't want to see that pine bough stem, okay? So I make sure that my candy cane covers the pine bough stem. For me, that seems just a little tidier. But, you know, what do I know? I don't know. But I know that it looks like I also don't have another piece of cardstock cut. What in the world? What in the world have I done here? I haven't done a very good job. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. But anyway, we'll get it. If I have to cut more, I'll cut more. That's just easy. So then I'm going to put my sentiment on with some dimensionals, like so. You know, the funny part, and it's not funny because it's the same reason that I look around for stuff for like hours in my house and then find it right in front of me, is that I know I cut that piece. And I know that that is crookedy. There we go. That's more better. So we're just going to pop that over the top like so. And then using a little bit of liquid glue, I'm going to tuck these leaves in. Just tuck them right in. Tucking it. I'm tucking. I'm doing some tucking. There's a tuck. And then we're going to tuck another one. You'll notice I did 3. And then school no matter what. Yeah, Jean. I know, it was very disappointing. I was so certain that it meant snow days. And I think there was like one snow day, but there was so much snow. It was like a snow week, and we could hardly get out of the house. It was very bizarre even for Colorado. All right, and then this little guy is going to go right here, like that. And while those guys dry, I will put on a few. Oh, there's my There's my tweezers. I'll bet my cardstock that I cut will be around here somewhere if I just look. So I'm going to put a few of these on. These are red rhinestones. Oh, that one has a little bit of fin fur on it. How did he get that on there in my little storage pocket? That's what I don't know. All right, we're going to put another one on. Come on. There we go. And then we'll put a few around the collage. Because really, I don't think you can ever have too many of these cute little guys. I love them. I love these little guys. I wish we had tons and tons of little rhinestones in different colors. That's what I wish. And if they ever call me, that's what I'm telling them. More rhinestones. Okay. So now we have one more thing to do, and I'm going to do it just as soon as I locate what I know I cut. I know I cut it. I won't look too long, I promise, because you guys are like, what in the world, Mary, are you doing? What are you doing, Mary? Oh, here it is. See, I knew I cut it. There it is. All right, so in order to have an easel card, you've got to have an easel stop. And so we are going to make that by stamping another sentiment from the candy cane set. And we're going to stamp it in shaded spruce and add a couple of little leaves, and that'll be it. All right, so with these, oh, this just reminded me. I was doing my pre-order this morning, and I discovered a cool thing in the new catalog. And you're going to want to watch for it so that you get the right version. But there are several stamp sets in the new mini catalog that you can order either as cling stamps, the red rubber, or as photopolymer stamps. So whichever one you like better, you can pick. I just thought that was the coolest stinking thing. So now, tell me, if you have a choice, are you picking photopolymer or are you picking cling? Tell me. Me, I'm a photopolymer girl because I like to have everything lined up the way I want it. Okay? And I don't like how that one did, so I'm going to do another one. I just wanted a little higher up. It wasn't quite as centered as I wanted. All right. Slippery pot pie? What in the world is a slippery pot pie? That's not a thing. I don't think. I mean, it must be because Jean told us about a thing. All right. Let's go ahead and stamp a couple of leaves. Like so. And like so. And we'll mat that and stick it on our card, and we'll be ready to go. That'll be almost done. All we'll have to do is a little bitty quick envelope, and we'll be done. And you will have seen a reverse easel. All right. I love the pool party. I wasn't really sure I would love pool party with red and green, but I do. I really, really do. All right. Any good easel stop worth its salt has dimensionals, because otherwise it doesn't really stop the easel so good. You know what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm putting down? Mm-hmm. All righty. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. So now, in order to put your easel on, your easel stop, stand your easel up so that you can see where it's at. And then I just center it side to side on this piece, okay? Which, if you've done everything kind of symmetrically, it should be just about perfect. And I'm just going to set it right there. And there you go. And of course, I think another little rhinestone is in order. And there you have a reverse easel. It folds up perfect, lays down flat. You've got a spot to write a note on the back, and it'll sit up on someone's mantle very easily and be beautiful. So let's go ahead and do us an envelope, and we'll be done, We'll be done, Jean, you must tell us what a slippery pot pie is. You just really must. I'm sorry, but you really must. I'm going to put one leaf right there. That's it, just one leaf in Pool Party. And then we're going to put the candy cane side out. And I only say that not to tell you because it's kind of duh, but because, yes, and don't do that. What in the world? Don't do that. When you put your paper on your envelope flap, it's much better to put the glue on the flap, not on the paper. And then put the side out that you want. Yeah. Would the other side be okay? Of course. Of course, it all would be fine. Any of the designs would be fine. But I really like those candy canes. So that's the one I'm doing. That's the one I'm doing. All right. And there we go. Now, I got to tell you, I haven't seen any comments for like 14 minutes. And I'm not sure that that's accurate. So if you have made a comment since Jean told us that she learned about slippery pot pie, and I have not responded to it, I am apologizing because I don't see any more of them. Don't know where they've gone. I'm not seeing them. But regardless, and also irregardless, if you are of that bent, here we go. One each reverse easel with the retiring Sweet Candy Cane stamp set and decorated pine and candy canes dies. All right. And then, of course, Sweetest Christmas DSP. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am sorry it wasn't quite as polished as I usually am. I don't know what in the world. Maybe not enough sleep. I don't know. But I hope you've liked it. I hope you'll come back on Saturday. We'll have a YouTube of something. I don't know what yet. And enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good time in the last chance sale and the clearance rack. All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks so much. Ta.